attempted did not cash, while Marshall Holman finished 46th. Randy Peterson, 43rd. The native of Garden Grove, California, opening with a strike. 19 strikes for the next man in 2 victories. Westlake, who this year was 4th at Atlantic City. Striking in the first, he was 4th in the U.S. Open, 5th at Fairlanes in Baltimore, and 2nd in the Firestone. What a year.
Westlake has a chance to set the 3-game record for championship round. The record is Jim Stephanie shot .815 in 1975 in Denver. Right now, to break the record, Westlake needs a .279 game.
How many do you want to get between 10 and 12?
And Bo, in 1984, how can we forget your sterling performance?
1050 for 4 games. A good day. A good day in a hometown. 262 average. Chris, takes me 2 games to get to 262 now. What a difference a few years makes.
Yes. All right. Don't let Bo kid you. One of the better con men, especially out on the approach in bowling or on the golf course.
Well, don't give away any secrets. I don't mind the bowling. Mark Baker. He is determined to win.
And Mark makes everything look so natural. He said he just started playing golf, and it seemed very unnatural. I have news for him. It is.
Baker, a powerful player, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 225 pounds, 5-step delivery, good extended push away. Watch him cup that wrist at the top of the swing, drive through with a tremendous pivot step, a long slide. When he gets the good high follow through and posts it, he's very tough.
A little high, leaving the 4.
The high hit is a low percentage hit when the scores are extremely high, as we've had so far today. He can send it just about as wide as he wants without it going in the channel. Just keep it thin and he'll scatter the pins.
Mark Baker. Bridegroom. His recent is November 4th. His wife, Jeannie. Tony Westlake.
Overhead camera, the position of Westlake.
And his wife Mary cheering him on. Striking the 3rd. It's his 3rd game of the afternoon.
Nothing but fun for Westlake. Has defeated 2 opponents fairly easily. Has everything to gain, nothing to lose, and just bowling as good as you possibly can. Coasting along, has not missed the pocket in 2 games and 4 frames.
Okay, right near the actual site of Portland, Oregon, in the Columbia Gorge, Lewis and Clark first saw the Pacific Ocean and this fall's Multnomah. In the Pacific Northwest, Hollywood Bowl in Portland, in our semifinal match against a 2-game winner, Tony Westlake, 269 and 268, and his opponent here in the semifinal is Mark Baker. Baker now spare up, shooting in the 4th. That's what Mark wanted, and now we want you to hear from our tournament leader, Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Tournament leader Steve Wunderlich. Steve, you're 1 win, 4 losses from the #1 position, but you've never been the tournament leader when it was so easy to strike. What's your attitude going in a championship game?
Well, the scores are definitely going to be high, but I've got a great reaction, and I'm throwing the ball extremely well right now, and I think that I can shoot 250 or 270, and that's what it's probably going to take.
All right, he expects a high-scoring game, Chris.
Mark Baker, almost begging for that double. Puts him in a 9-10 lead, but he's going against Tony Westlake, who today has 23 strikes out of 27. What's his reaction of Baker? Now Westlake. And And his 3 in a row put him back now. That strike put him in the lead by 1. The leader last week in winning the tournament was the very colorful man from Dallas, Texas. We welcome him to our booth. He'll be watching the 500 race tomorrow, the race fan that you are, Chris Warren.
Most definitely, thanks, Chris. You really have to like Tony Westlake right now at this point. Excellent shot. Oh, just a little weak.
Chris, you know, ask you this, basically. Westlake, I don't know if he's aware of his chance to set the 3-game record, which just went down the tubes with that shot. He needed 279. But he can also think about a 4-game record. He has to win the matches. That's still very important.
That's the bottom line. You have to win the matches to achieve your final goal, which is to finish first.
And right here in our semifinal game, we are all even. Tony Westlake exhaling, taking a equally now deep breath. The last win for Mark was in '87 in Dublin, California.
Stop it.
Another 10.
A disappointed Baker, very aggressive, and Baker could have carried that. He would have made the match where he would have been even. Now he'll trail by 1 pin if he converts the 10th.
Mark Baker with a spare, a quality athlete in both basketball and baseball. We asked him earlier if he ever regretted choosing bowling as his profession.
I think in terms of succeeding, bowling was my best chance. 6'4" power forwards aren't in great demand in the NBA. I can never out-hit my buddy Lenny Dykstra, and this year nobody can. So I think I made the right choice, and hopefully I prove it again today.
Mark, an infielder in baseball. Len Dykstra, an outfielder right behind him, now playing, of course, for the Phillies. Okay, we'll be back with more of our next to last match following this.
Pro Spring Tour next Saturday.
Owner-proprietor on the left, Mark Frank, and his general manager here at Hollywood Bowl, Alan Stanford. Young, energetic, and they were great hosts.
Have to be awfully excited about the results they have here. High-scoring tournament, the great crowds, and one of the best matches of the season set up right here is Westlake comes up in the 7th frame, trailing by 1 pin, spare up.
Uh-oh.
Well, he never missed the pocket in almost 30 frames. The 1 errant shot leaves the 4, 6, 7, 10. The best he can do is slide, hopefully, one of the pins over into the 4 pin.
What a visual block. Oh.
Chris Warren, I ask you a question. You're a power player like Baker. Do you have a different attitude when you play against a down and in, or like a tweener player that doesn't have a lot of power like Westlake?
Most definitely. You look where his ball is breaking, and you try to optimize that point because that is the highest friction point where the ball will hook. And Mark, being such a tall player, gets such good leverage that he's going to be real tough to beat.
So what you're saying is a player like yourself or Baker will look at the break point of Westlake about 45 feet down the lane, move left, play the oil, and try to use that same break point.
Yes, Westlake probably looks right in between the foul line and the arrows, whereas me and Mark Baker usually look right at the 35-foot mark or as far as 45 feet.
Interesting point. The only 2 players I've ever seen Chris to do that before, Wayne Webb, obviously a power player, and Don Carter picked out 2 spots. And a good tip for you crankers, look farther down the lane.
All right, Mark Baker, big double. As we said, his last win in Dublin, California. Speaking of Dublin, we had a nice surprise visit from Susie and Earl Anthony, who dropped by earlier today. And of course, Earl bowling in the seniors, and he hopes to be in the television finals 2 weeks from today.
Earl says he's in top bowling shape, the best he's been in about 4 or 5 years. Going to bowl a lot of seniors tournaments, and we'll see the finals on June 9th from Las Vegas.
310.
Baker with just a tremendous chance to put Westlake away here. throws his worst shot of the match. He just too quick, laid it short, and pulled it. About 3 mistakes, and still didn't cross over. Needs a 310 spare to put some more pressure on Westlake. Get the ball over the 3-pin, drive out to 10. Not very tough for a down-in player. A lot tougher for a big hook ball player like Baker.
All right. Relief from that pressure of converting as he did.
No problem. The ball deflects off the 3, takes out the 10. He has the upper hand in the match, has the pressure on Westlake. 9th frame.
That's a perfect pocket hit for the man who has 2 PBA titles. More to come, no question. Second twice in the Firestone.
Absolute must situation. He has to strike on this ball to have any chance of winning the match. 10th frame.
And one of the best marching bands in college history.
Converting the 7-10, Chris Warren.
Oh, just a tough break there. Actually, the ball's a little long. Lengths are going through some slight changes right now, and the guys are going to have to make some adjustments.
It's almost too late to adjust as we only have 10 frames left in the championship match. It's going to be Baker against Wonderlake as the best Westlake can finish with is 203.
Probably going to make some adjustments from when he was practicing on them to now.
Steve Wonderlick, who's had some misfortunes from the number 1 position, will be going against the very tough and strong Mark Baker.
And Tony Westlake finishing his 3rd game of the afternoon, shooting a 201.
Oops.
Baker will just finish out here, try to keep his rhythm. Best he can shoot is 236 with 3 strikes.
Tough sport, though. Shoot 269, 268, then come back in your 3rd and pivotal match in 201.
Well, this is the big boys out here, Chris, and 201 may sound like a good game, but when you're playing against the best players in the world, especially a player of Baker's and Wonderlick's capabilities, you really have to keep the pressure on. It's hard to do every single game. And that's the best I've seen Mark Baker look. When he's relaxed out there, I don't think anybody can throw strikes much better than he can.
This gave us a Chris Warren shot, flirting with the channel.
Most definitely, Mark, with all the power and the turn that he has on the ball, is definitely going to steepen the angle a little bit. He's watching the carry point, and if the steeper the angle, the more the carry. In the first match, when Westlake angle with the ball finishing harder, he carried a little better. Now the lanes are taming down a little bit, and his carry is getting a little worse.
All right, Chris Warren, and 236 for Mark